All right, welcome to tile making. We're going to continue our work of hand building and working with slabs by creating some tiles. Now there are a couple of different ways of creating tiles. You can create a tile and add onto it with some clay, but you can also create a tile by carving away, and that's what we're going to do today. First step is to create some sort of a design. Now this is the size that I want and the design that I want. So I have worked out all the details, thought about even some of the color schemes that I wanted, and you could even color this in if you kind of had some ideas of what colors you wanted to use ahead of time. So any sort of brainstorming or changes, alterations that you want to do it on paper, because that's the easiest form to change and alter and start over if you need to. Then you're going to get some clay. Now this is a small amount of clay, but if you have scrap of clay that's all thrown together, you do want to wedge it up so that it's a consistent piece of clay. And then get a large enough piece. This is a little bit too small for my project here, and so I'm going to get a little bit more than that for this project. Now you probably also noticed that my design here is larger than my finished tile. Keep in mind that the clay shrinks oftentimes around 10–11%, and you are wanting to kind of keep that in mind if the tile size, precise tile size is important to you. All right, so I'm going to get some sticks out for rolling out a slab, and I'm picking out thicker sticks because I'm carving away some of this tile. And so I'm going to kind of wedge up my clay, and then I'm going to kind of toss it a little bit in this manner so that it stretches it so that's larger, and once I hit the I hear the click of these, and I've got it kind of an even size slab. I also kind of want to take a rib and compress the clay particles, create a nice sturdy clay. This is a good practice to go about to compress the clay. Clay does have kind of a memory, and it does you do want it to be a bit sturdy. I also am going to add just a little bit of moisture to it so that my paper template sticks. I'm going to put my template there. I'm going to cut away the clay, and I'm going to take a needle tool or a pencil, and I'm going to begin carving out, or not carving, but just tracing my design. So I'm going to press into the clay my design, as easy as that, and you can see already that I've got a design. Now you'll find sometimes with clay, when it's fresh like this is nice fresh clay, it is actually a little bit difficult to carve. So if I wanted to try to take some of that clay out with a tool, it is actually a little too soft. You can probably get started, but it tends to want to just break down your walls, and it's a little bit difficult. Your first step is to draw out your design and then put it on a board and set it aside for a day. You do want to wrap it up, but it will get leather hard, and that's actually the ideal stage of the clay that you would like. So I'm going to begin carving now. So you can use a needle tool, you can use a knife. I've got these nice handy loop tools that will get into these little areas here. So you can just kind of carve away the design that you need to carve away. Loop tools work very well, knives, things like that. Now I do have students at first when they start carving away, and it's like, oh my gosh, it just looks so messy and sloppy. Well, you do have some options there. If you have at your disposal some carving tools, and that will help, or sculpting tools, that will help with smoothing out edges and things like that. I also find that what works really well is just a little bit of water and a paintbrush. I sometimes will use the one end of the paintbrush to kind of just even out my walls to make them more 90-degree walls, and then I'll take a paintbrush with water and just kind of clean that up. It's amazing how much repair that does to clean up the areas that you're carving away. Then once you're done with that and you've got it all carved away, you're going to set it aside. Now, oftentimes with a tile, especially with maybe perhaps even a thinner tile, I will put a second board on top of it. There is a tendency for tiles to want to curl on the corners. So put a little piece, a board, and let it dry out for a couple days with a board on top and a board beneath. Also a little extra note here is if you want this to hang somewhere, you can carve out a little divot there. Don't go too deep, but I also carve out underneath here a little bit and leave a little bit of a lip there so that it can be hung but from a nail. So once you've carved that out, clean that up, cut your initials on it, you can put it away to dry out slowly. And then we will go about, after it's bisque fired, about adding glaze and completing the tile. Good luck. Happy tile making.